You have entered the Aqua Brain. I'm your Virgil Drew. On today's show, we're going to check in with a friend of mine. He's got himself a show that he's kicking off. He's planning on traveling to a very special place, and I'm going to let him fill you in on the details. Pretty cool dude. He's got some stories from Las Vegas. Hopefully we can get him to tell a few of those. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Jon Boone. Jon, how the hell are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm just hanging out here in Boise. The smoke finally cleared.
Oh, nice.
Got to actually take a walk and not feel like I was being suffocated, which is
right.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah,
how's Vegas?
It was good. It's the hot spell's kind of over now.
Okay.
But it still hasn't rained yet, though. We're at like some crazy record without rain.
Wow.
Like the monsoon season just didn't fucking happen this year. It's weird.
Uh-oh. That's trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking dry, man. Yeah.
Cool. Well, so you just started this YouTube channel, and
yeah.
I think it's been something you've been planning, but I want you to tell the folks about what it is and what the mission is for your channel.
Well, I'm going to Cambodia. Originally I was going to make it kind of like Cambodia based, but I realized that I'm probably not going to stay there. I mean, I'm probably going to reside there, but I'll bounce all over the region and stuff like that. So, named it Jon Abroad, and yeah, it's just basically trying to share my experiences. And it seems like all the other travel channels and stuff, like it's only highlighting like the cool shit. So like I'm trying to like show the whole thing, like the trials and tribulations and, but just share my experience with people. I've got friends all over the place. So it'd be kind of cool for them to be able to actually see it instead of just some random pictures on Facebook and shit.
Yeah. I've got to say, with the few videos that I've seen, I like how you're splicing in other photos. You can tell that you've done your research, unlike this channel, which is just me talking. This is a conversation. I don't splice anything in, but
no, that's perfect.
But I like that.
And I like that. I'm probably going to change it. Like, unless I'm like relaying information or something needs to be accurate. But I'm kind of new to this whole thing. So like everything that I've been doing is taking like 30 fucking takes. And then like, I'm not sitting in the same fucking position anymore. And like, oh, I got to put some shit in there.
Oh, very smart. That's very smart. Okay.
Totally fucking trying to hide the camera break and shit, Yeah,
it's funny that, I've been doing AV for a long time, and it looks like how I see people with their PowerPoint presentations when they're, those little like funny pictures, which totally works. I love it, man.
I'm just new at this shit. So it's like just self-taught, just winging it, hoping it turns out.
Yeah. So Cambodia. Wow. It's, why Cambodia? Why Asia? Why that part of Asia?
Well, Ryan and I went and checked out Southeast Asia. And we landed in Cambodia as kind of like the jump off spot for there. And we went to Vietnam and we went to Thailand, and we ended up coming back into Cambodia for our flight out. And just like the genuine feeling from the people there, like you get into Thailand and it almost feels like forced, like people are being nice and polite and smiling because they want your money and they want you as a customer, Cambodia's tourism is the same thing. Like there's definitely a sales pitch, but then there's people that have nothing to gain from being nice to you other than just being nice. And like people are just nice, and it's kind of cool. And then, it's central location. So, anything is a 2-hour flight. Philippines 2 hours, Vietnam less than an hour, Thailand less than an hour, India it's like 2.5 hours. So as far as like taking breaks and jumping off after this whole COVID situation kind of calms its tits down a little bit, then yeah.
That's great. So I don't really know the area too much. I should have looked again. I should have done more research on this whole deal, but I should have looked at a map right before. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe through the power of splicing things in. But,
there you go.
But I probably won't. Okay, so is it? Can you drive? It's not an island, is it? Is it?
No.
Can you drive places, or
Yes.
is it all flights?
Flights are easier just because the airports are all over the place, and land border crossings are kind of a pain in the ass. So like most of the countries have like visa on arrival. Like you just get off the plane, you go to immigration, they give you your shit, and off you go.
Ah, gotcha.
So yeah, it's just easier and quicker. I mean, Ryan and I caught a bus from like a southern part of Cambodia into Vietnam, and it was an 8-hour bus ride on. I mean, it was a cool experience, but not something that I really want to do again. You know,
Oh, gotcha.
I'd much rather just catch the 45-minute flight versus the 8-hour bus, you know?
Was that the bus ride when I actually ended up connecting with you guys?
Maybe we caught a couple of buses.
Okay.
Yeah. One, I mean, the region we were in was not like a tourist place. And then the city we were going wasn't a tourist place either. So like these people were looking at us like, we've only seen white people on TV. Like, I mean, we were like deep.
But those are the best places to go, right? I mean, you're
Absolutely.
actually experiencing the country, and maybe that's what you're talking about. The people in those places didn't have to be nice to you. I mean, they were just being nice to be nice.
Yeah. I mean, in Vietnam, I ended up bullshitting with this security guard outside of a Circle K. Like I was using my phone translator and he was using his. Like he would say some shit into his shit, show me his phone, and then I'd say some shit and show him my phone, and we talked for like 15 minutes. It was kind of cool.
Awesome. That's awesome. I actually experienced something like that on this last little trip that I took. We stopped at this. It was a national park. I think it was called like Murder Rock or something. I don't know. It was some place where supposedly Indians massacred wagon train people.
Oh, okay.
And so we're on this walk, and these two Spanish speaking people had chased a snake into a bush, and they had had a big stick, and they were like jabbing in the bush and stuff. And so I grabbed my daughter and put her on my shoulders, and we were kind of walking over there, and the lady, like, because they were trying to explain to me what it was. They didn't know that I understood a little bit of Spanish. I probably could have. But but she's like, snake. I'm like, oh, okay, Audrey, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, technology's super rad. Like just that, you know, somebody that has no idea what you're saying and you can just have a full-on conversation. You know, it's kind of cool.
So your plan is to travel there, and with your channel is more for keeping in Okay, so we are super professional here at Aqua Brain TV. That was all planned.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to start over. So your goal with the channel, is it more to stay in contact with your friends, or just have a central place where they can catch up with you? Are you trying to grow the channel? Is it more of an informational thing, like, hey, if you're coming to Cambodia, here's places to check out? Or what's your goal? What's your mission?
Well, I titled it a vlog and review. So like the vlogging stuff, it's kind of my opportunity to show my friends and family and stuff, like where I'm at, what I'm doing. But I plan on like visiting and trying to actually film some cool experiences. There's a few YouTube channels that are out there that I kind of follow. And one guy, like his entire vlogging thing is just interviewing other vloggers.
Okay.
And it's kind of cool. Like Like he just travels all over the fucking world and just like has conversations with these dudes. And
In person.
yeah, like
Oh,
in
wow.
person with other vloggers. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So you gotta try to hook up with that guy, right? Because
Yep.
you know he's got an audience already.
Right. There's a few people that have audiences. One guy I've been watching for like 4 years, and like his channel just blew up. Like he went from maybe 100 something views a channel, and now he's got like, I think just short of 30,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And it like just
Yeah.
blew up all of a sudden. So whatever content or whatever he was providing like worked.
Yeah, you gotta check out when he made that transition, right?
Right.
So it's probably hard to tell because people, I know when I go to a YouTube channel that I've never been to, if it's interesting, I'll actually go and start with their very first video that they've ever put out and kind of watch them forward, because I feel like if there's anything to learn, I can learn from some of their earlier videos before they get, I have to watch a bunch of commercials and whatever to get through their stuff.
YouTube Premium, man, it's $11.99, bro. It's totally worth it.
Hey,
for real.
I'm super cheap, but you're right.
Ryan, it's fucking Ryan's fault. So I'm watching
Ryan.
Right? I'm watching shit
Missed
on
you,
Ryan's
buddy.
phone. And he's got no fucking ads, no nothing, no stupid banners on the bottom. And I was like, this is fucking sweet. And then like we come back and I start like watching shit on my own device. And I was like, these fucking commercials. I was like, so he ruined it. Like I was totally okay with it until they just went away one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Dang it, wags.
But like going back to people's stuff, I go back like a Vegas channel, for instance, right? And I want to see how relevant or how recent the stuff is. So like I'll find an upload that was done at a certain time of year that I know was like shitty weather or really great weather, something that'll like drastically change it, just to see if they're still like backlogging their videos or, what their deal is. Cause I don't know, like I just try to be real,
Yeah. Have you found what certain things affecting view count? Have you found any of that?
Not for me. I mean, I've only got 5 videos and they're all shit, but like once I get over there and I'm actually like creating some content that's like not me in my living room, then,
Okay, John, I gotta stop you there, man. I just watched all your videos and I watched them all the way through. I was thoroughly entertained. And you've got one video that you're selling yourself a little short because you walk through the process of the visa. Can you run through that a little bit? Kind of give people a little bit of a teaser. He's got a great video. I'm going to link it up here. All right.
Sweet. Fucking, I don't know. My internet got a little weird. No, the visa process, it was kind of a pain in the ass because they keep updating stuff with the COVID restrictions. So when I first applied, I like hit a cutoff date that day. No. So like the guy was like, everything's all good. Your paperwork looks good. Like send it to this official guy and you're good. And then that guy just said no. And so I ended up calling that guy and I was like, just looking for some reconsideration or something. And he was just like, no visa. And then just like hung up the phone. I was like, whoa, oh, fuck. So then like, I was kind of disappointed, but I didn't like want to show it, I guess. And so I just kept contacting people, trying to figure it out, see if somebody knew a guy. Ended up contacting a guy and he's like, yeah, man, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And then like I got my shit. And so my passport is currently in the mail on its way to Washington, D.C. Wow. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I don't want to give too much away because I genuinely want people to go and check out your videos. But there's a video I'm going to link right up here where you talk about the process. And I could, I felt like your future videos, because of that, are going to be really, really valuable to people, because that's just how life works, right? You hit a bump in the road and things don't go the way that you plan. Can you just give them a little snapshot of what that process is?
Well, yeah, like the forums and stuff where, I've been getting all of my information. There's a bunch of misinformation, old information, people that aren't like being very helpful. So I decided, since I'm going through this process and now finding the exact like solution to it, I wanted to make like a step-by-step video for people that were in my shoes, 2 weeks ago, that, can go through it. So, making sure that your paperwork is in order. There's a $2,000 deposit that has to be in cash, and it used to be $3,000, and they used to accept cards, and like people are getting all the way there and then getting sent the fuck back because their shit's not in order, right?
Oh man.
So that's costing them a shitload of time, emotions, and money.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've found this process, through all these different sources. Like, let me give you one thing that you got to watch and just follow everything step by step, and you're good. So that's kind of where that video was at.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, there was something you said about, I don't remember exactly, but you were talking, I know one of the things was find somebody who's gone through it before, and speak with them. And then there was one right before that, which was, I don't know, something about planning or something like that. But I felt those that way of approaching because you could have just said, "Oh, I can't go," and then that would have been the end of it. And
I thought about it. I was like, well, shit, I might just have to wait till this COVID thing just disappears. But, I don't think it will, not for a while. I mean, even in the countries that are doing good, like everybody's still nervous about the shit. So, like, I think the difficulty is going to be there. And then, I've had lots of problems in my life, and so I kind of had a little step program that like I would follow anytime like I ran across something that like severely limited what I was wanting to do or whatever, and one of them is reaching out. Like, after you formulate a plan, reach out to other people and have them look at your plan and critique it and make it better, because nobody's plan's all good,
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I mean, plans are plans. I think it was it Muhammad Ali? He said everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face. Right? It's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, and that changes that changes.
Right?
You got to adapt.
That's it.
Pick yourself up,
Well, that's the important part, man. A lot of people they take the hit and they give up, And
yeah,
I don't know.
It's that stick-to-itiveness. Yes, that is a word, I think.
Yes, good enough for me. I like it.
That's gonna really make for some really interesting videos in your future. When I was watching that, I was like, John, you're gonna make some great material. I don't know what it's gonna be, and I don't know, but it's gonna be like, screwball. Okay.
Well, shit.
Where next?
Well, like when Ryan and I went, we were up on scooters, right? And his scooter's torque converter takes a shit like halfway up this mountain. And I don't remember how far away it was, but it was like quite the distance away. And his scooter, like the engine turned on and stuff, but he had zero power.
Oh.
And so we needed to get like him back to the gas station and shit. So
it's like a Dumb and Dumber scene, huh?
Well, kind of. And like I'd seen people, remember back in the day, like riding bicycles and shit like all the time, right?
Handlebars?
No, just like riding bikes. like regular kid bicycles as kids, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Greg and I at one point like tied a rope, and like he was trying to like pull me on my bike, and like I ate shit like 10 times. So like my mind went back to that spot, right? And I was like, no, like we can't pull him, like Ryan's gonna eat shit.
Yeah.
So I ended up putting my foot on his rear passenger peg on a scooter and pushing him for
Oh,
fuck, I think it was like 30 kilometers or something.
wow.
And so like every time he'd lose momentum, I'd get up next to him, lock out my leg and push on his peg and then like floor it and like give him some more motor.
So he was just coasting.
Right? Yeah. And so like I'm pushing Ryan with my bike and my fucking foot like all hanging out the side and shit. You know, so you got to just figure shit out. You know? I mean, what else you gotta do when you're 30 kilometers up a fucking mountain in a place nobody speaks your language? You gotta figure something out.
So is that part of your plan too, John, then to learn the native language a little bit, enough to get by? Or
yeah, I think it's important if you're gonna enter somebody's country and live there and try to build a sense of community, or give back to the community that's providing this opportunity to you. I think it would be really unfair and just not right, I guess, to not learn their language, or at least make the effort to. It's, I don't know, you hear, fuck, I'm gonna get like slightly political, but like
no.
you get not political, but like you hear a lot of like rednecks and stuff saying, if you can't speak English, get out of my country, right? And so like you just flip that, and it's like, well, now I'm the fucking foreign jackass that doesn't look like anybody that lives there, don't sound like anybody that lives there. Like, I think it's important that I at least learn a bare minimum to get by, and Cambodia, their vocabulary is like 800 words. It's just how you use the words and what words you're inflecting can mean different things. So it's not a terribly difficult language to pick up.
That sounds fascinating too. Just like, I think you've got a lot of good fodder for content.
Yeah. Right.
if that makes any sense. So John, I want to kind of pivot a little bit away from your channel.
Yeah.
I am at the end of this video, I'm going to put links and stuff to push on. Go ahead, go check John's channel out. It's freaking awesome. Jon Abroad. It's going to be awesome. It is awesome. There's already information there. And it's not going away. So
nah, I'm just new at it,
yeah, it's only going to get better. It's awesome.
Right.
So you were before all of this business happened, security in Vegas. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, and you've got a story or two for us?
Well, I've kind of always been in the security industry, up in Seattle and everything. So getting a job down here was pretty simple. But the rules and the games are completely different down here. The Nevada Gaming Commission, their rules and what people have to follow are tough, So like just on a side-by-side comparison, you're at a bar and a bouncer tells you got to leave, and you tell him to fuck off and you push him back. You might get roughed up, but probably not. And you'll eventually have to leave. Vegas, I mean, if somebody tells you got to go, you got to go. And then they're going to trespass you from the property. But then like Vegas security, they can straight up make an arrest. All the hotels and casinos have holding cells, and you just go down there and you arrest somebody, put them in a holding cell, and wait for the cops to show up. It's a different world down there.
Yeah, they're not playing around. Security's not playing around down there.
I mean, if you think about it, you got multi-billion-dollar corporations that are down here. Like, they're gonna protect their shit.
Yeah, some of those indoor malls just fantastic. That was like one of the things when I was down there that blew me away probably the most was just this arched ceilings they had clouds and stuff, and you thought you were out, you felt outside, but you were totally inside, and they pump smells in so you get like a whiff of roses or whatever. It's a different world down there. So what were you doing? I know you were working security, but you had a special. Were you with the MGM?
So I was at Park MGM, which is, I mean, it's another MGM property. They own a shitload down there. I think 16 of them. But I was in the theater section of it. So Lady Gaga and Aerosmith, Bruno Mars, they all had residencies there. And then I worked with their personal security as almost like a liaison kind of thing. And I mean, it was pretty rad. You get to see Steven Tyler on a daily. Probably the coolest experience that I had down there was got a phone call from Joe Perry's personal bodyguard. And he goes, hey, he wants to come in and do a sound check on a day that you don't need to do a sound check. I was like, all right, no big deal. Joe Perry shows up with 2 sound engineers and 5 buddies of his. And they fucking jam out full volume on the stage for like 5 hours, dude.
Whoa.
Like Hendrix covers and shit. Like they were just having fun playing guitars and shit. And I just sat there and watched it for like 5 hours, like a private concert with Joe Perry. It was pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was I don't know, it was a really cool gig, and then Corona just kind of wiped out all the live music venues and all the conventions and stuff. So I don't know, Las Vegas got a long road to recovery.
Yeah, I think it's not just Las Vegas. I mean, there's convention centers all over that are hurting, and they've had to. So one of my new favorite words is pivot.
Yep. I've noticed.
So I'm gonna pivot a little bit now. So that's seriously like that's the word, right? Because being in AV and just seeing like, okay, I had these options for work and I saw all this stuff going on, and then all of a sudden that was gone, and it's taking a very slow revival. And and I'm seeing, okay, if you're installing equipment, then you've got people contacting you because that's just how things have gone, right? But the live events, I mean, there's no concerts.
Nope.
There are starting to be conferences, which is a good sign. There's starting to be some. But the problem is that there's so much required in actually getting people in the door that I think it's really cost prohibitive at this point.
Yeah. I mean, cost is a big thing, and Las Vegas is one of those places where like 5% of the revenue generated in the city is from its actual residents. Like, I mean, without tourism, without conventions and live shows, like people don't come to Vegas. And I don't know.
It's a crazy world we live in. Yep. So I've got 2 things I want to ask you. One is, how excited are you to have that thing shoved up your nose and to tickle your brain? How excited are you about that?
I've already had one. In the process of purchasing insurance, I had to prove to the insurance company that I didn't already have Corona. Wow. So I had to have one already. Oh. And
can you still feel it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like your natural reaction is to pull back. So like I'm 6'4", 225. Like I'm a big dude, and I'm scared of that little fucking tiny, right? Nurse comes up and like starts sticking it in my nose. I was like, oh no, this ain't bad. And then I was like, oh shit, like, trying to like pull away from her.
Oh, and then if she didn't get it, then she's got to go back in.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
It came out. It was all good. My nose itched for a few minutes, but like it wasn't painful. It's just really weird. It was strange.
Yeah. The other thing, and I think we'll end it here, just because like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of cheap, and I don't want to pay for whatever service I'm using to conduct this interview. I don't want to pay for the premium, so I'm at a time limit. So that's full disclosure, everybody. Aquabrain TV, check us out, subscribe, like, you know the drill. You've heard it a million times before. And subscribe to Jon Abroad while you're at it, guys.
That'd be cool.
It's, what do you got to lose? That's what I always say. Hit the bell too. So then when we're putting videos out, and I do one, at least one a month. Now I'm got that going for me. I used to do like 4 a month, and then
you were cranking them out for a while.
I was cranking them out, and then I'm just trying to put a quality. That's the thing. I'm trying to do some quality conversation. Not that any of the other ones previously were not quality,
Right?
But
and this one is. I don't
no, this has been a great time. All right, so I see the Sounders jersey.
Yes, sir.
Man, looking good, looking real good at this time. Had some really good, and we're not going to talk about all their political nonsense that they've got going on too, but because they are a soccer team.
We got the second star last year.
I think that's
man.
I think we're looking good to continue this run of getting into the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
I personally think, and since I'm interviewing you, I'm going to ask you your opinion. How do you see the Sounders taking the second half of the season?
Shouldn't be a problem. I mean, earlier in the season, you kind of saw a little bit of lack of cohesion, but I mean, it's understandable, very little practice, like team practice, very little, I mean, that's going to impact the game, but everybody works well together, and you can see it on the field. It's starting to click.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do you feel like the fans maybe early on affected, like just lack of fans?
Yeah.
Do you think that affected them at all?
Sure. Yeah. Cause I mean, the guy score a goal, turns around and like looks at the crowd that's there, and he's like, well, shit,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I gotta say,
they're piping in the ECS stuff though.
I know.
If you heard it, it was all right.
Yeah. It's just, I'm starting to see at some stadiums, they're having fans, which is a good sign. Like, come on, Seattle, let's go. Get with the show.
All right.
Get with the program. You got to let some fans in. It's okay.
Don't need a lot. Just,
just let them, let's start
essential
moving
fans,
forward.
Right?
Let's start moving forward. Yeah, that's right. As long as they're wearing green.
Right. Then you're essential,
Yeah, exactly. I love the fact they got Brad back.
Yes.
Man, what a signing. I got chills, man. Come on.
It was good. There's some chatter about it on the internet, and I was like, no. And then they announced it. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's on now. It's on now. All right, Jon. Well, hey, thanks for joining me in the brain, man. This has been awesome.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you know when we put new videos out. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Brain Aqua. This has been Aqua Brain TV. Remember to keep your head up and keep those knees bent.